Hey, our next thing we are going to be learning about is the order of operations. You may have heard a teacher use the word PEMDAS or PEDMOS or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're going to use a different acronym. We're going to use GEMS. It's going to follow the same order, but it's a little easier to remember and it just is simple. So GEMS, and it's sparkly, right? We love sparkly things. So order of operations, there are rules in math you have to follow. You cannot just start solving this problem and do what you come to first. There's things that have a higher power than other things, and you have to go in order. You also need to do it like you read, but within the item you're on. So you always start on the left and work your way over, but you have to be doing the right thing. So we need to remember we're going to work left to right, but we are going to follow GEMS. So what does GEMS stand for? So G is for groups. When you have something that is in a group, you might have parentheses around it. So anything that is in that group, it is saying step one, do this first. This is important. Notice me, okay? You have to do that group first. So here we can see that 1 plus 5 is in that parentheses. So let's go ahead and circle 1 plus 5. That's what we have to do first. This is the most important thing. It wants us to do this first. So 1 plus 5 is 6. Okay, now this 4 is right next to it. It doesn't make it 46. It's really 4 times 6. There's a little invisible multiplication glue dot stuck right there holding them together. So it's not 46, it's 4 times 6. So we're bringing everything else down. So we're dividing by 2 to the third. Okay, so we did our groups. So any sort of group that we have in parentheses or brackets, we want to do that first. So then E is our exponents. So those are our powers, like 2 to the third power or 5 to the second power. Okay, so exponents is next. So I can see we have this one here, 2 to the third. And every time we want to write what that means. That means 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. It's not 2, 4, 6. It is 2 times 2 times 2. So we did that. And now we're going to bring everything else down. Times 4 and minus 17. Okay, we don't have any more exponents. So now M stands for our multiplicative operations. Multiply and divide. So M is our multiplicative. Sorry, I'm writing with a mouse. Multiplicative operations. So we are going to times or divide. They're the same thing, just opposites. You have to do the one you come to first. So this is where it's really important. We go left to right. So I start here. This is a subtract. So I'm not doing 17 minus 4. Oh, here we have 4 times 6. So we need to do 4 times 6 first before we do divide by 8. If it had the 8 divide, or if it divided over here, we would have to divide first, but we came to the multiply first. We have to do that first. So 4 times 6 is 24 minus, we got 17 minus 24 divided by 8. So we're still on M. We're still on our multiplicative operations. Here's a minus, here's a divide. So we need to divide next. 24 divided by 8, 8, 16, 24 is 3. Bring everything else down. Now we can do our subtraction operations. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. So we're either going to subtract or divide. One's not more important than the other. We just do whichever one we come to first. And the only thing we have left is 17 minus 3. is 14. So you can see, right, we're making this upside down triangle, trying to funnel down to the answer there. I circled my step. I was on G. I circled the step. Do it, bring it down. I circled the exponent. Do it, bring it down every time. So things to remember, left to right, you have to go in order. You have to go in order of gems. Multiply and divide are just opposites. One's not more important than the other. You do whichever one you come to first. Same thing with subtraction and addition, whichever one you come to first. So here's a few helpful tips. 1, write gems down. When you are doing the problem, write gems down and use it like a checklist. G, I've got to do my groups. E, I need to do my exponents. M, I need to multiply and divide. S, I need to subtract and add. So I just like check it off every time. I did my G, did my E, did my M, did my S. Hey, we need to remember to funnel the problem. So your problem should be getting shorter and shorter each time because you're leaving out the thing that you just did. And how do we know what we just did? Well, we want to make sure we circle or box or whatever, underline something to mark the step that we're on. So we can see, right, every time we circled the step we were on groups, we circled it, we did it. Now I didn't bring down the 1 and the 5. I already used them. So that helps us keep track of what we've used. And then bring everything else down. Perfect. So, right, we circle what we used, do it, bring everything else around it down. So a number right next to the parentheses, like 4 groups of 3 plus 2, means to multiply. It's really 4 times 3 plus 2. So we don't really like to use that times sign because we're going to start using variables and letters in our math. So it can be very confusing, but it means to multiply. Okay, we need to make sure we go left to right. So you have to go in that reading order and follow your gems, which is okay. And to blank a problem means to blank it. So you're going to see the word evaluate, and that really just means solve it as much as you can. Put the things together that you can. Sometimes that means we come to one answer. Later on, we might find that we did as much as we could because we didn't know what the variable was or something like that. So evaluate means solve. So as you're working through your order of operation problems, here, use these tips to help you get them right. Hey, we're going to try one more problem together. So first of all, we want to write that checklist, gems. So write that down. So we're going to start on G. We need to do the groups. So I'm looking here and I'm going to circle my group. 5 plus 2 is 7. And then we bring everything else down, right? I'm done with that. So there's my plus, my 4 times 3 squared minus taking it all the way from 81. Okay, so now I'm looking, is my G done? Yes, there's no more groups. G is done. Right, it's just like a little checklist. It tells you what to do. So E, we're looking for exponents, and I have one here. And this means 3 times 3. It's not 3 times 2. It's not 3, 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So we're bringing everything else down, take it away from 81 times 4 plus 7. Hey, so E is done. So E is all done. Our next thing we need to do is to multiply or divide. We're using our multiplicative operations, whichever we come to first. We have subtract, that's not 1. We have a multiply, so we've got to do that first. So 9 times 4 is 36. Oh, I just lost my lights. So bringing everything else down. Hey, let's double check. We've used our multiplies and divides. So here's a subtract. Here's an add. So we're done with M. So now we need to subtract or add, whichever one we come to first. Lots of us like to think that multiplying and adding are more important than subtracting and dividing. That's not true. they're just the same. They're opposites. So we do the one we come to first. It's just like a reading. Oh, here we have subtract 81 minus 36. We have to do that first before we're doing this part. You have to do it like you read. So 81 minus 36. It's Friday. I can't do math in my head right now. So we're going to borrow. 11 minus 6 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4. So we have 45. Bring down the plus 7. So now we have 45 plus 7. So 5 more makes 50. 2 more makes 52. So my final answer is 52. We finished our gems. So use your checklist, funnel it down, left to right, and you have to do the one you come to first. Okay, follow your gems.